The American bison, often called the buffalo, stands as one of the most powerful, enduring, and symbolic animals in North American history. A creature whose presence once shaped the land itself and whose story reflects both the beauty and tragedy of the continent. Long before cities rose, before roads cut across the plains, and before fences claimed ownership of open spaces, the bison ruled the Great Plains in numbers so vast that early explorers described the herds as endless black waves moving across a sea of grass. 30 to 60 million bison once roamed from Canada to northern Mexico, and the thunder of their hooves could be heard from miles away. These massive animals, with males weighing up to 2,000 pounds and standing more than 6 feet tall at the shoulder, were built for survival in a world of extremes. Their thick fur insulated them against brutal winters, while their strong hump supported enormous neck muscles that allowed them to plow through deep snow in search of grass. Despite their enormous size, they could run at speeds up to 35 miles per hour, leap over obstacles, and defend themselves fiercely against predators such as wolves and bears. Bison lived in large herds structured by age and gender, with females and calves forming long-term groups, while males often roamed independently until the breeding season. Their social life was complex, filled with vocalizations, head movements, postures, and dust-wallowing displays that communicated mood and hierarchy. Calves were born in spring, their coats a reddish color that earned them the nickname Red Dogs. These young bison could stand within minutes and run shortly after birth, an incredible adaptation necessary for surviving on open grasslands where danger was always nearby. Beyond their physical presence, bison played a crucial ecological role, acting as engineers of the prairie landscape. Their grazing patterns prevented grass from overgrowing, allowing a diversity of plants to flourish. Their hooves churned the soil, helping seeds take root, while their dung fertilized the land and provided food for insects, which in turn supported birds and other animals. When bison wallowed, rolling in dust to remove parasites and cool themselves, they created shallow depressions that filled with rainwater, becoming microhabitats for amphibians, insects, and waterfowl. In many ways, the Great Plains existed in the form we know because of the bison's constant movement and influence on the land. For countless indigenous nations, the bison was more than an animal. It was a sacred partner in life. Tribes such as the Lakota, Cheyenne, Blackfeet, and many others relied on the bison for food, clothing, shelter, and spiritual ceremonies. Every part of the bison was used with deep respect. Its hide became clothing and teepees. Its bones became tools and weapons. Its flesh provided nourishment, and its presence shaped cultural stories that taught gratitude and balance with nature. Indigenous peoples harvested bison sustainably, ensuring the herds remained strong for thousands of years. This balance was shattered in the late 19th century when commercial hunters, fur traders, and government policies targeted the bison on a massive scale. With the expansion of railroads, hunters shot bison from moving trains, leaving their bodies to rot on the plains. The U.S. government allowed the slaughter to weaken indigenous resistance by destroying their primary food source. In just a few decades, the bison population collapsed from tens of millions to fewer than 500. Mountains of bison skulls were stacked at railroad stations, a haunting symbol of destruction. The grasslands fell silent, ecosystems began to collapse, and indigenous cultures faced one of the darkest periods in their history. But from this devastation emerged one of the greatest conservation stories ever told. A small group of ranchers, indigenous leaders, visionaries, and early wildlife advocates refused to let the species disappear. Individuals such as Charles Goodnight and William Hornaday gathered the last surviving bison and began breeding programs, while Yellowstone National Park protected the final wild herd that had never been domesticated. Indigenous nations also began restoring bison herds to their own lands, reviving cultural practices, and healing the land. Over the next century, these efforts slowly brought the bison population back from the brink. Today, Around 500,000 bison live in North America, though only a few thousand remain genetically pure and truly wild, with the Yellowstone herd being the most historically intact. Modern bison still face challenges: habitat fragmentation, hybridization with cattle, limited roaming space, and conflict with land use. But conservationists and tribal nations continue to work toward restoring more wild herds across the plains. Rewilding projects seek to return bison to large landscapes where they can once again fulfill their ecological role. Their resurgence is not only a triumph for wildlife, but also a powerful symbol of cultural survival for indigenous peoples reclaiming their relationship with the buffalo. Today, seeing a herd of bison grazing beneath a vast sky, or watching a bull shake frost from its coat on a winter morning, is a reminder of the resilience of nature and the possibility of renewal. The American bison's journey, rising from dominance to near extinction and back again as an emblem of hope, stands as a testament to what can be achieved when people choose restoration over destruction. Their story continues to unfold across the prairies they once ruled, whispering a message carried by the wind, that even the most fragile species can rise again when respected, protected, and allowed to roam freely across their ancient homeland.